From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage. For your home kitchen, purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com. We know the battle plan. We know who the enemy is. We know their project. We can stop them. The InfoWar.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
What you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is not a radio show. It's not a television simulcast. It is real. It's an emergency transmission worldwide. We've decoded the enemy's operation. It's public. They're moving against us in plain view. We know their goals. We know their ideology. They are alien. They are foreign. They will mean the destruction of all we hold dear. Due process, our families, and basic justice. We're in a stance right now of partial awakening and awareness. We have a chance if we simply awaken our brethren to defeat the globalists across the board. We've held them back. They're at least a decade behind in their own globalist documents by Brzezinski, Kissinger, and others. They're trying to accelerate their program right now and finish it. And they're now operating in a race to the finish line because they realize if they fail, they're going down 100%. Even though they have a low probability of succeeding, even midterm, they are now racing because it's the only chance they've got. And you can see the massive preparation for false flag terror attacks that are staged in this country to be blamed on the Liberty Movement to then launch a purge against the resistance, against the counter-revolutionaries. That's you and I. Once that launches, the plan is to have the Liberty Movement wipe out the military and police and vice versa. This is what the globalists want. Do you understand that, ladies and gentlemen? We cannot let it get to this. We've got to stop this program. We stopped the open arming and bombing for al-Qaeda in Syria. We stopped the public turnover of Egypt to al-Qaeda. We have been stopping a lot of their operations, not just us here in America, but others worldwide that understand what's happening. Truth is the disinfectant. The enemy will not move unless they think they can get away with it. And I want the globalists to know, your own people who compartmentalized listen to this show because they recognize what we talk about here is true as prima facie or on its face, because they're there every day seeing what I'm talking about going on internally. They know I know what I'm talking about. The Navy SEALs, the Army Special Forces, the CIA people, the Defense Intelligence people, the defense contractors, the lawyers, the judges, the bureaucrats, the FBI, the federal marshals, the Secret Service. Most of these people are good men and women who actually got into their jobs for the right reasons. And you've been operating under compartmentalization. I'm here to blow the compartments. The compartments are good to fight an outside enemy in a time of war. The compartments are bringing the nation down, allowing the disease to quietly spread house to house, building to building, facility to facility. We have got to decompartmentalize this whole operation right now and blow this operation right now. The globalists are the most unmitigatedly sickening, wicked, evil, warmongering, anti-human pieces of unspeakable filth to the point of words cannot describe the pit of hell stench that emanates from them spiritually. If you have any common sense, any life force, any will to survive, any will to thrive, any will for justice, any will for light, you should set your full will against the enemy. And I'm telling you, if you just set your will against evil and ask for God's guidance, even if you don't believe in God, you have to ask God into your heart and you have to give permission. You have to make a decision and just say, I recognize darkness from light. I recognize good from bad. I want to be good. To quote Judge Smales from Caddyshack, do you want to be good, Danny? I want to be good, sir. Good, Danny. Very good. And we can make jokes about that all day. Judge Smales is a globalist who acts like he's good, but he's a hypocrite and a crook. And that's what that's all about. We will lose everything, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I love that new promo piece that an activist I've seen for more than a decade on the streets of Austin with InfoWars signs and anti-fluoride signs, Scottish John cut. Buckley, will you get that loaded in the computer so I can play that before we go to break? I'd like to play Scottish John because I think he says it all. I told him and Jacobson, just cut whatever ad you guys come up with, and they come up with a much better promo than I would come up with. He says in that great Scottish accent, we better get involved now or we're going to lose everything. And everybody knows in their gut, we're going to lose everything. The military has been training the police so the police can then train to take on the military. And you have the hypothetical argument that, well, the military could turn against us and is going to. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You could say the police are going to turn on us. They have all this training. And you know what? They are in the big departments because they're under Homeland Security, ladies and gentlemen. Local SWAT teams in big cities are already under Homeland Security for, quote, special events. You're going to aid the Secret Service when the president's here. And then it expands out to everything else being infrastructure protection to where your local police have been internationalized, not just federalized. But I want to play this clip from this story up at DrudgeReport.com in the middle column. Police now armed for war against returning veterans. And again, in the training manuals that we published that are in the article, I'm going to have Watson add some of our previous stories in this because the story's getting a lot of attention. They say it's not a question of if but when we're going to have this war with the veterans. And then you learn the Marines, the Army, all of them, that's the main mission. And what was it, 3 years ago, responding to one of our articles that was on Drudge, Big Sis came out and said, we don't apologize. It was an AP. We don't apologize. The headline was, DHS head stands behind controversial report, labeling veterans #1 threat. I'm going to explain this again. They're openly saying veterans are the #1 terror threat when all the statistics say the opposite. And then the globalists are the ones running al-Qaeda, launching chemical attacks, blaming it on Syria, getting caught, trying to attack military bases in Egypt to overthrow the government. Our government is so criminal, folks, it publicly funds al-Qaeda now, like you're so stupid you won't figure that out. Well, you know what? Litmus test. Ted Cruz, Rand Paul both get up and say, our government runs al-Qaeda now. It's evil. We shouldn't be part of it. What happens? They can't launch the full attack. They have to back off because they told the truth. All you do is, did Ted Cruz and Rand Paul get discredited for saying our government runs al-Qaeda? No, they got carried on people's shoulders because the military already knew it and didn't want to be part of it. That sounds crazy that our government runs al-Qaeda, but it's true. My grandmother a few years ago, I grew up knowing this guy lived down the street. He was a guy with really bad arthritis and a wheelchair, and some neighbor got in his face and slapped him around or something. So the next day he came out with a gun and shot him. And it's just, oh, you know, where's such and such? Oh, he's in prison now. You know, he shot and killed the neighbor. It just happened. Well, it's kind of like, well, our government just runs al-Qaeda. Or, oh, they just found dead bodies in Bob's backyard. Yes, it's crazy, but it's going on. So let's go ahead and play the head of the SWAT team in Morgan County, Indiana, Sergeant Dan Downing, saying, we're going to be patrolling the streets, getting everybody acclimated. That's I see these trucks all the time in Austin. DHS has them. You know, to Arte Acevedo's credit, he says Austin doesn't need any of those. Well, you've got some other smaller ones. But DHS has got them here in town. I see them driving around. Those are meant to go to your house and burn your house down. They're meant to go and dig people out, folks. They're not meant when you go on the defense if you actually got attacked. I mean, why not give Abrams tanks? You know, the military knows how to drive one, while a bunch of veterans can go to an armory and take it over and get tanks. We better get rid of the armories. See, they're saying we can't trust each other. Watch everyone. Homeland Security's for the veterans. The one group they know, just like Smedley Butler, who's going to stand up to a domestic takeover and say no. They have analyzed where the threat comes. New alternative media, Infowars.com, WorldNet Daily, DrudgeReport.com, things like that, openly demonized by the globalists. Talk radio, they don't control. They want to shut that down. The free internet, state government, the John Warner Defense Authorization Act, says they're training to take on the American people and to, quote, take over governorships and legislatures. The feds are openly saying, we're prepared to take over your states and take over your city councils, and we're going to run things. They're prepared for the feds to give orders so evil that the American people that'll put up with anything are going to stand up and say no, and our state houses are going to say no. And what are they going to say no to? Total military occupation, gun confiscation. They know there's already county commissioners and mayors in multiple places in, what was it, in Lubbock last year? Saying, you know, the county judge, like the county mayor, said, we know they're planning gun confiscation. They're going to come down the road in armored vehicles. We've got to prepare for war. And why did he know that? Because DHS had come into Lubbock. We talked to his office. He said he would come on, but never did. But we talked to his chief of staff, and they said, no, the judge knows this because we got visited by DHS with the takeover plan. And I said, they've got to come on the air and tell this story. Well, you know, he may come on, Mr. Jones. He knows who you are. I mean, folks, they're coming in to the cities and the counties saying, are you prepared for war? And a lot of the police are going, okay, yeah, yes, sir. Salute the flag, salute Obama as they prepare for a total takeover. Do you understand?